Unless you forgot.
Okay. No. Okay. All good things must come to an end. I mean, I don't want to make this sound like interview. I think I did. I played the devil advocate there. And okay, here we go. A lot of people want to hear this. Fracking. Are you thinking about this at night when you go to sleep?
Look, I have no problem sleeping at night. Like I said to you earlier, I don't sleep long enough, but I'm at peace with decisions we're making every day. You know, one of the things, Charles, we talk about commitments, and one of our commitments as a party was that we support and we would continue the direction of responsible.
I'm grinding my teeth here. I'm grinding my teeth.
Look, that this is all part of it. We would develop in a responsible way the natural gas sector, and you know, it's interesting that people this summer have been concerned about even exploration, which has nothing to do with fracking, quite frankly, and they're concerned about the seismic testing, which has gone on for literally decades across the country, and so my comment is, look,
decades. What do you mean decades?
Seismic testing has been going on across the country, across the world for decades and decades, and it's very safe. That's the work that's been going on in New Brunswick thus far, and so we need to look to see what the opportunity is. I find it a little bit ironic that you know, people are already, or some people, I'll say, not all people by any sense of the thought, but some people are saying, you know, we're not interested in exploring natural gas in New Brunswick, but it is okay for New Brunswick to take as much as 40% of our monies that we spend on healthcare, on education, on support for the most vulnerable from Canada and from other provinces. That money in reality comes from oil and gas revenues primarily. You know, it's from provinces like Alberta and BC, Saskatchewan, Newfoundland today. It's a little bit ironic that we're prepared to take that money when we need it to provide services, but we're not prepared to look at that same development here in New Brunswick.
See, listen, I said this on a video, and don't get upset with me. I seen you upset once, and I don't want to see it. It was at Brian McDonald nomination meeting. I won't even say what the hell we were talking about. But anyway, like, you say it was in your platform, okay? And I told some people, I did a video on it. I'm not comparing you to Hitler, okay? Never mind the Hitler, the Jews. The economy was bad in Germany. So this guy Hitler was going blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, the people voted for Hitler. Now, if they would have known what he would have done in the future, they would have never voted for him. So it says, if you would have read the policy, you were so upset with, people were so upset with Sean Graham, that they never read your policy. You know what I mean?
But I guess, Charles, that's but is
that a learning experience? You got to read the policy.
And I think that's certainly part of it. But all the parties at the time were looking at the responsible development. No, that's the reality of it. Mm-hmm. What I would say is people need to take time to see the work that we are doing. We're out in front of other jurisdictions because we're taking the necessary time to look at what has gone well elsewhere, what hasn't gone well elsewhere, and how can we change things for the better for the future. And how can we ensure that we can have economic development, okay, create jobs, allow our young people to stay in New Brunswick instead of have to.
But we can't destroy the water, right, Mr.
No,
Premier?
absolutely. And Charles, what we need to do is to be responsible, to put in place mechanisms or ways to ensure that the water is protected.
How can you do that? Can you have both?
As we absolutely can have both. And you know, one of the things in the past in New Brunswick, as an example, it's been the onus has been put on the individual to demonstrate how the company has caused a well to go bad. Let's say, as an example, we're going to change that so that the responsibility will be put on the company to prove how it didn't. Okay, we're going to put in place a bonding requirement so that, God forbid, if anything was to ever happen, the person will be protected. Those are just a couple of examples of how we can do things differently. We're the first province, we're the first jurisdiction to say that we were going to require companies to publicly document anything that they use when they do frack. Today, other jurisdictions are starting to follow what we've said we're going to do, but as a province, we're not even there yet, because we're 2 to 5 years from that development stage. We're in the exploration stage right now, and we need, and I've got a responsibility as
you said that to the protester. You have the responsibility of premier. What do you mean by that? That's what everybody was asking me. What does he mean by that?
I have the responsibility ultimately as premier of New Brunswick to ensure we do have opportunities for economic prosperity in our province, that we are able to provide the necessary services to people that people need.
At any cost?
And at the very same time, ensuring that we are able to protect our environment, that we are able to protect our communities. And I take both very, very seriously. But I believe wholeheartedly that we've got the opportunity to do both.
Is it possible?
We've got the responsibility to do both.
Is it possible to have a map to know where all the groundwater is located around this province?
Well, one of the things actually that is being done, or one of the requirements, will be within a certain distance from any work that will be done. There's a requirement by a third party, not companies, but by a third party, to do baseline water testing. Okay, again, to ensure that long-term people are protected.
That's good enough for me,
Okay.
because I could catch you on the street.